Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is my Netflix suggestions for you guys. Since we are all in quarantine, I figured you could use some ideas, some new things to watch, maybe some things that you forgot about that you want to rewatch, and just whatever else. I know for me, I won't watch a new series or a new movie unless somebody suggests it to me. I'm going to do two categories. I'm going to do TV shows and then movies. I'm going to start off with the TV shows because I think I have less TV shows. The first TV show that I have for you guys is Gilmore Girls. If you have never heard of this show, then boy are you in for a treat. This show is from the early 2000s. It ran for I think 7 or 8 seasons, so there is a decent amount of stuff to watch there. It is basically about this mom and her daughter. The mom had the daughter at a really young age, so they're really close in age, and they're basically best friends, and they live in this small town in Connecticut, and it just follows them through their lives, through the daughter's high school and college career, and through the mom's just life in general, her career, both of their love lives and everything. And it's just a really good show. It's really funny. It's one of my favorite shows. I've loved this show since I was really young because my mom watched it when it first came out, so I was like 3 maybe. And there is a bonus. So the original series is on Netflix, all 7 or 8 seasons, I forget how many there are. But there's also a revival series that Netflix did that is exclusively on Netflix, and it's 4 like mini movies basically. And it's summer, winter, fall, and spring, and it follows them all these years later after like the original show ended. Definitely check that out because you'll have a really long series to watch, and then you'll have a revival series to watch after that. The second show that I have is Glee. Obviously this is another older one that was out in like the mid 2000s. This one's just a really good show in general. Lots of drama, high school drama. If you're into music at all, there's lots of singing, lots of different styles of music. I highly recommend watching it. My third show I have for you guys is Heart of Dixie. This show is another like chick show where this girl named Zoe Hart, get it? Heart of Dixie. She wanted to be a surgeon in New York and she failed. And this man, random man that she's never met before, ended up leaving her his practice in small town Alabama. She decides after she fails being a surgeon in New York to move down to Alabama to take over his practice, and basically she's not accepted at first and like everybody hates her and whatever. So it's like her journey trying to be accepted into this town and all the drama with all the other girls in the town who hate her because she's pretty and whatever. It's just a good one. Good love stories. My next show that I have is Sex Education. I know this one is a lot newer and a lot more popular, so a lot of you might have already heard of it. But if you haven't, or if you've seen it and you like seen it on Netflix but you just didn't really want to watch it, or you thought it was like an actual sex education like course, it's not. It's a really good show. There are 2 seasons out of it right now. I have no idea when the 3rd season is coming out, but I'm so excited. This show is so good. It takes place, I believe, just like in the UK. I'm not exactly sure where. It's kind of weird to describe because you'd be like, oh, what? So you just kind of have to watch it and get into it. It's really good though. The next one is gonna be so basic and you're all gonna hate me for it, but it is You. I don't care what anyone says, this show rocks. It is so freaking good. I'm not usually one to hop on bandwagons of shows. I don't like The Office, I don't like Grey's Anatomy, I don't like The Bachelor, except this one. But there's a reason that everyone else fell in love with it, and it's because it's that good. Like, if you're sitting there thinking that it's not gonna live up to the hype, or that everyone else is overreacting, or that you don't wanna be that person that watches the same basic shows that everyone else does, this show is different. And there's a reason that it's hyped up. It deserves the hype. No matter what kind of TV shows you like, there is something in this show for you. If you like mystery, if you like murder, if you like romance, if you like love, if you like action, if you like suspense, no matter what you like, there is something in this show for you. There are only 2 seasons of it out, so it's not really one that's gonna last you a whole lot of time. but it is one that will get you addicted, and you'll be waiting for season 3 like the rest of us are right now. We are all like on the edge of our seat wondering when the heck season 3 is gonna come out. I don't care about your pride. I don't care about, well, I don't want to be like everybody else, or I don't want to hop on the bandwagon, or it's not worth that. It's worth the hype. Go watch this show right now. If you watch any of the shows that I recommend in this video, it's this one. You need to watch this one. Rant over. The next show that I have for you guys is Young and Hungry. This one is a couple years old as well, but this is just another like great like sitcom kind of show. Emily Osment, who was Lily on Hannah Montana, is actually one of the main, well, the main character. The cover of the show looks like a cooking show, but it's not. If you're looking for one that's not super difficult to like follow, or that you're not gonna get like head over heels invested in, or something that you just want to put on like while you're scrolling through Instagram, like something like that, this is definitely a good one. It's funny. It has some great characters in it, and just a good storyline in general. The next TV show I have is H2O, Just Have Water. So I'm sitting here editing this, realizing that I just said H2O, just have water. I'm so dumb. I literally have watched this show a good 13 times through, and I called it H2O, just have water. I also had it written down right in front of me, so like, anyways, sorry, back to the video. Believe it or not, this show is still on Netflix. If you didn't watch this as a child, then your childhood was really like missing something, and I just think it's so fun to go back and like watch those shows that you were so obsessed with as a child. They really popped off with H2O. And then the last TV show that I have is Skin Wars, and then Skin Wars Fresh Paint. So they're two separate like series, but Skin Wars Fresh Paint is like a continuation of Skin Wars. It's these like people who are artists. They go in and they paint bodies and stuff. It's just really, really crazy to watch people paint a body, like, and paint it well, and paint it in a way that it blends in with the surroundings, or, you know, whatever the challenge happens to be. It is insane, and I think it's so cool, especially because I have no artistic ability whatsoever. Now moving on into the movies category. The first recommendation that I have on the movies list is the Taylor Swift Reputation Stadium Tour. Obviously, if you hate Taylor Swift, this is not going to be a good recommendation for you, but even if you just kind of like her, or she's okay to you, watch this, because this tour was amazing. I was there. I cried. When she puts on a show, she puts on a whole production, and it's like watching a movie with a storyline. And I think it's just a really, really amazing production, and something that most people will enjoy, even if you just think she's okay. The next movie I have is Burlesque. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. It is so, so good. And if you're on TikTok, then you already know what Burlesque is. You may not know that that's what it is, but that run that Christina Aguilera sings, that everyone was trying to hit, that I can't even do it like that. That one is from Burlesque. Basically, Christina Aguilera lived in some like middle of nowhere town, and she wanted to move to LA and become like a singer / performer, and she stumbles into this nightclub one night called the Burlesque Lounge, and she watches these girls dance and lip sync on stage to these like classic hits, and falls in love with it. And she tries everything to get in, and like nothing works, until one day the owner, who is Cher, finally decides to give her a chance. And even then, she's still lip syncing to the songs and dancing, even though she has this like amazing voice that Cher has never heard before. And one day when she's performing, the song cuts out, and so she just starts singing, and Cher is like, holy crap, didn't know you could sing like that. We're gonna redesign the entire show around you now. And it's just kind of, it's, oh my gosh, it's just so good. And there's so much like glam and like just amazingness in this movie. The next one I have is The Highwaymen. This movie was crazy. It's based on a true story. It is actually based on the two men that went after and killed Bonnie and Clyde when they were on the loose and killing people. Most movies about Bonnie and Clyde are from Bonnie and Clyde's perspective, and it's really cool because throughout the entire movie they never show their faces, like Bonnie and Clyde's faces, until seconds before they light them up. The next one I have is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This is another one of those like comedic relief movies. This is a classic as well. This kid basically figures out a way to skip school without his parents knowing and without his school knowing, and just it's just him trying to stay out of trouble all day basically. The next one I have is You Get Me. This movie is another one of those modern movies that is so good. Bella Thorne is actually one of the main characters in the movie. She meets this guy at a party who had just gotten broken up with his like soulmate, and so they end up like staying the weekend at this girl Bella. That's not her name in the movie. I forget what her name in the movie is, but it's Bella's house, and they stay the weekend there and they have a good time, whatever. And then it's time for him to go home. But what he doesn't know that he got himself into is that this girl is crazy and that she is going to stalk him and come after him and come after his family and all of these things. I was really deceived when I watched this movie for the first time because I thought it was going to be a nice romance movie, and it's not. The next movie I have, I don't even have words to describe because it's that good. And the fact that it's on Netflix is such a blessing, and that is Shawshank Redemption. If you have never even heard of this movie, there's something wrong with you. It has Morgan Freeman in it, immediately makes it a great movie because any movie with Morgan Freeman in it is amazing. I feel like if I tried to describe it to you, I would be insulting it because there aren't words good enough to describe this movie. Just watch it. You have nothing else to do. The next movie that I have is Miss Americana. Now, before you skip this part of the video or you just click out because I just mentioned another movie by Taylor Swift, just hear me out for a second. Even if you hate Taylor Swift, you need to watch this movie, and I'm gonna tell you why. This movie is a documentary. This movie follows her through the lover process, but that's not it. A bigger portion of it is just what she's gone through in the past 5 years, basically. Between the Kim and Kanye drama, her being canceled on Twitter for something that was a complete lie, her going missing for 2 years off of social media because she was in such a dark place, her standing up for her political beliefs. But just put yourself in that position. Think about the struggles that you go through on the daily at school, and about like if you hear somebody saying something bad about you at school, how much that can hurt you. Or if like a group of people start something on social media about you and it's just within your high school or your middle school or whatever, or your job, and it's just that small group of people, but how much that can affect your mental health and how you view yourself. And then blow that up times 1 billion. Because that's how many people know who she is, and that's how many people watch her every move. I think a lot of what she goes through is definitely really relatable to what we as teenagers go through, but on a much bigger scale. So then you kind of like step back and say, man, maybe what I'm experiencing isn't quite as bad as I thought it was, because imagine if I was experiencing this, but on this scale that like she's experiencing it in. The next movie that I have on my list is My Girl. And again, this is another classic. It's so cute, and then it's also really like heartbreaking. If you want to cry, then watch My Girl. Another laugh movie is gonna be Click. This is an Adam Sandler movie, so right off the bat you know it's gonna be a good one because all Adam Sandler movies are amazing. I can't even describe this one to you because it's so weird. Like, it's just kind of like really off the wall and weird, but it's so funny. And like, again, Adam Sandler's amazing, so definitely go watch that one. The next one I have is Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. This one I know was kind of controversial when it came out because of Zac Efron. I'm not saying that to romanticize Ted Bundy. If you didn't know, that's what this movie is about. It is the real story about Ted Bundy and his trials and the things he did, and it shows you what actually happened. And what actually happened was that these women at the time romanticized him and they loved him. And they sent him love letters when he was in prison, and they wanted him free even though he was a murderer. I really don't think there was anything wrong with them choosing Zac Efron to play this. I think he played the part so well, like acting wise, and he looked the part because that's how it was. So I just think they were really trying to make it historically accurate, and I think it was, and I think it was really good and gave you an even bigger insight into Ted Bundy, because I didn't even know some of the things that this movie kind of like exposed to me. So that is all the suggestions I have. I hope you could at least find one thing that you liked or that sounds interesting to you. Make sure to check out my Instagram and to subscribe down below and give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. It really, really helps me out. My current goal right now is 500 subscribers and 2,000 hours of watch time. I'm really focused on creating great content that you guys actually want to spend time watching and just growing the family. So if you enjoy any of my videos or think anybody else would, make sure you share it with them, send it to your friends and family, give them something to watch during this quarantine time, and just keep checking back on my channel because I've been posting as often as I possibly can. I just want you guys to know that I love and appreciate every single one of you, and I am not forgetting about you as we grow and as I reach towards my goals. That is it, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!